All right, so ready to dive into another deep dive. Today we're going to help get you prepped for a soap tower operator interview.
Really exciting stuff.
Yeah, I mean, we're talking about like the role where you're basically like conducting an entire like soap making symphony, right?
Yeah, keeping everything flowing perfectly,
Sure.
all the different parameters.
Yeah, and so we've got a career guide to pull from and some common interview questions, and of course, got to mention RoleCatcher,
Oh, of course.
which it's a really great AI tool that can help tailor your answers and just make you really stand out. So
Absolutely.
yeah. So first, let's get a clear picture of what a soap tower operator actually does.
Right.
I was looking through the career guide, and it mentions how important this role is, for maintaining the quality and the consistency of the soap.
Absolutely.
Like more than just pushing buttons.
Yeah, it's really understanding the entire process
Yeah.
from start to finish.
Yeah, exactly.
The career guide even highlights responsibilities like monitoring those flow parameters and troubleshooting any issues that might come up
Yeah.
and making sure the entire operation is running smoothly and safely.
I like that. So it's like you're the conductor of this soap-making orchestra.
Exactly.
Okay, that's awesome.
Yeah,
Now let's get to the part that everyone's probably a little nervous for,
a little bit.
the interview questions.
Yes.
Okay, so the first one we'll tackle is, what are your greatest strengths as they relate to this role?
All right. Well, this is really your chance to shine and show them you've got what it takes. Remember, soap tower operators need a really keen eye for detail,
Right.
a knack for problem solving, and, a solid understanding of how all those control panels work.
It's true.
Yeah.
It's like it's really about connecting those skills to the job description, but anyone can just say they're detail oriented.
Right. Exactly.
Like how do you actually make your answer stand out?
Well, you bring it to life with a story. Think back to a time when your sharp eye really saved the day.
Right.
Maybe you spotted like a tiny error on a production log
Ooh, yeah.
that could have led to like a huge problem, or maybe you noticed a subtle change in a machine sound
Okay, yeah.
that hinted at a potential malfunction.
Oh, that reminds me of this one time. Okay, maybe I'll save my story for later, but the point is a real life example.
Absolutely.
Makes it believable.
Yes, it really makes it memorable.
Right.
It's proof you can walk the walk,
Yes, exactly.
not just talk the talk.
I like it.
Yeah.
Okay, now another question that I know comes up a lot is, how would you handle a situation where the flow parameters of the soap tower were not meeting specifications?
Right. And this one is all about showing off those problem-solving skills in action.
Yeah.
They really want to see that you can think clearly and stay calm under pressure.
It's like that pressure cooker moment they talk about in those cooking shows.
Exactly. Yeah.
Oh, no.
Yeah. And, the career guide actually mentions that the work environment can be pretty intense at times, with noise and chemicals and maybe even shift work. So they want to know you can handle it,
Yeah.
for sure.
Okay, so if I was in that hot seat, what's the best way to kind of approach this question?
All right. Well, first, you want to emphasize safety.
Okay.
Make it clear that your first instinct would be to follow all the safety protocols.
Right, of course, yeah.
And then walk them through your troubleshooting process. So would you, check the control panel readings?
Oh, okay.
Would you inspect the operating units
Okay.
for any, obvious issues?
Right.
Would you consult the operating manuals?
Yeah.
You really want to show them that you have that mental checklist ready to go.
Okay.
And of course, you'd communicate clearly with your supervisor.
Exactly.
Right. So it's not just about fixing the problem, but it's how you approach it in a systematic and responsible way.
Yeah.
And this is where RoleCatcher can be super helpful because it analyzes real job descriptions and can help you identify which skills are most important to emphasize in your answers.
Oh, okay, so you're saying RoleCatcher can help me figure out exactly what they're looking for in an answer.
Spot on.
Oh, that's pretty awesome.
Yeah, it gives you that extra edge by tailoring your responses to the specific company and role.
Okay, that's really cool. Now, I'm curious, thinking back to the career guide, it mentions the importance of like understanding all those different operating units in the soap tower.
Right.
I gotta admit, I'm not totally clear on like what that means.
Sure.
Can you break that down for me a little bit?
Yeah, absolutely. So think of a soap tower like a giant multi-level building, right?
Okay.
Each operating unit is kind of like a different floor with
Okay.
its own specific function. So,
Right.
you might have a unit for mixing ingredients, one for heating and saponification,
Right.
another for cooling and drying, and so on.
Okay.
As the operator, you're responsible for making sure you understand how each of those units works and how they all kind of connect
Okay.
to create that final product.
So you're basically like overseeing this whole chain of events, making sure that everything is working in sync.
Exactly.
Okay, I like that.
Yeah.
That makes a lot more sense.
Good.
All right. So that brings us to our next interview question,
Okay.
which is, tell me about a time you had to work in a high-pressure environment.
Right.
How did you manage the stress?
Yes. The dreaded stress question.
I know, right? Feels like every interviewer wants to know how you handle those, like, pressure cooker moments.
It's a popular one for sure.
It is, but in this case, it actually makes a lot of sense.
It does.
Because if one part of that soap tower goes haywire,
Oh, yeah.
like it could throw the whole operation off.
Exactly.
Right.
They want to know you can stay focused
Right.
and make clear decisions even when things get a little hectic.
Yeah.
And remember, that soap tower environment can be demanding.
Yeah.
Like the career guide mentioned, there's potential exposure to chemicals. You might have to work different shifts.
Right. It's not all glamorous.
It's not always,
Not always.
but it's rewarding.
Okay, so how do I convince them that, like, I'm the calm under pressure type?
All right, so think of a specific situation where you faced maybe a tight deadline,
Okay.
maybe a sudden problem or a challenging task, and use what we call the STAR method.
Okay, the SWAR method.
Yeah, so that's situation, task, action, result.
Okay.
To kind of tell your story, describe the situation, explain your role, outline the steps you took,
Right.
and then highlight that positive outcome.
So it's not enough to just say, like, oh, yeah, I can handle stress. You have to show them how you've actually done it.
Exactly, in the past.
Yeah, and it doesn't have to be like this huge, dramatic, save-the-day kind of story.
Right.
Even a smaller example, like calmly troubleshooting a technical issue
Okay.
or effectively managing a last-minute change in plans.
Right.
That can really demonstrate your resilience. I think I have a pretty good example from my last job.
Perfect.
But I'm also curious, how can RoleCatcher help me kind of fine-tune my answer for this?
Yeah, so RoleCatcher's AI is really great for this.
Okay.
You can actually practice your answer, and it will give you feedback.
Oh.
On your delivery, it can highlight areas where you can sound more confident, maybe more concise.
Yeah.
It can even suggest ways to kind of tailor your language to match the company culture.
Oh, so it's like having like a personal interview coach.
Exactly.
Exactly.
In my pocket.
It really is. It takes a lot of the guesswork out of preparing.
That's pretty awesome.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm feeling a lot more confident now.
Good.
What's the next question we should tackle?
All right, let's look at this one. Describe a time you had to make a difficult decision at work.
Okay.
What was the situation and how did you arrive at your solution?
Ooh, this is an interesting one.
Yeah.
I bet they're trying to see how I think on my feet.
You're on the right track.
They really want to understand your decision-making process,
Okay.
especially when faced with, a tough call.
Right.
And remember, a soap tower operator, they might have to make quick judgments
Right.
based on all that information they're seeing on those control panels.
It's true.
Auto.
So it's not just about following instructions.
Right.
It's about like assessing a situation and making the right call.
Exactly.
Okay.
So think back to a time when you had to weigh different options, consider the potential consequences, and ultimately choose a course of action.
Okay.
It could be a time when you had to prioritize tasks, deal with a conflict, or solve a problem with limited information.
This is making me think about that time when, well, maybe I shouldn't share that one publicly.
We'll keep that one under wraps.
Yeah.
But it sounds like you have some good examples to draw from.
I do.
That's great. And remember, just like with the stress question,
Yeah.
use that STAR method to structure your answer. Set the scene, describe the challenge, explain your decision-making process,
Got it.
and highlight that positive outcome.
I'm starting to realize a lot of these questions are kind of interconnected.
They are.
Like the problem solving, stress management, teamwork, like they all really come into play
Yeah,
in a fast-paced environment like a soap tower.
absolutely. And, the interviewers are really trying to get a holistic view of your abilities.
Right.
They want to see that you can handle the technical aspects,
Yeah.
but you can also thrive in that team environment.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
That makes sense. And, the career guide also mentions the importance of continuous learning
Yes,
in this field.
Absolutely.
How does that usually come up in an interview?
They might ask something like, how do you stay up to date with the latest advancements in soap production technology?
Okay.
And this is where you can really shine by talking about any relevant courses, workshops, or industry publications that you follow.
So it's not just about what I know right now. It's about showing them that I'm eager to learn more
Exactly.
and keep growing.
Yeah, the soap industry is constantly evolving, so demonstrating that commitment to professional development
Okay.
is a huge plus.
That makes sense. And speaking of staying ahead of the curve,
Yes,
let's loop back to RoleCatcher for a second.
absolutely.
One feature I think would be really helpful is the AI-powered feedback
Yes.
on practice interview answers.
Yes, we touched on that earlier.
We did. How does that actually work?
All right, so it's actually super simple.
Okay.
You record yourself answering common interview questions, just like we've been discussing today.
Right.
And then RoleCatcher's AI will analyze your response
Wow.
and provide feedback on everything from your clarity and conciseness to even your body language and tone of voice.
That's really cool.
It is.
So it really is like having like a virtual interview coach.
It really is.
Wow, that's really impressive.
It can help you identify any areas where maybe you're stumbling or sounding less confident. Plus, it can even suggest like alternative phrasing or ways to tailor your answer to better align with the company's values.
Okay, so RoleCatcher is definitely a tool that I will be checking out.
Awesome.
All right, so as we wrap up this deep dive,
Yeah.
is there a final question that we should kind of prep for?
All right. There's one that often comes up towards the end of an interview, and that is, do you have any questions for us?
Oh yeah,
That's a popular one.
the question that can either make or break the interview.
Right, right.
Right.
But don't worry, it doesn't have to be daunting.
Right.
You know, having some thoughtful questions prepared just shows that you're engaged and you're curious about the opportunity.
Right.
So think about things you genuinely want to know about the company, the team, or the specific role.
Like, what are some of the biggest challenges facing the soap production team right now?
That's a great one.
Or what opportunities are there for like professional development within the company?
Excellent examples. It's also a good idea to ask about the company culture or team dynamics.
Okay.
You know, you could even ask, what do you enjoy most about working here?
Ooh, I like that.
Or, how would you describe the team's work style?
Okay, yeah. I'm starting to feel a lot more prepared for this interview.
Good, I'm glad.
We covered a ton of ground today.
We did.
From understanding the soap tower operator role
Yeah.
to like tackling those tricky interview questions.
Absolutely. And remember, you know, we really just scratched the surface here.
Yeah.
The Career Guide and RoleCatcher, they offer a wealth of additional resources that
Right.
you can explore. But most importantly, remember to showcase your passion for the soap making process
Right.
and your enthusiasm for joining the team.
That's great advice.
Thank you.
So to all you aspiring soap tower operators out there, go rock that interview.
Yes. Good luck.
And don't forget to let us know how it goes.
We're cheering you on. So the next question kind of focuses on that teamwork aspect. Tell me about a time you had to work as part of a team to achieve a common goal.
Okay, this feels like, a classic interview question.
It is.
But how do I make my answer like relevant to the soap tower operator role specifically?
Yeah, so think about the collaborative aspects of the job.
Okay.
You know, you'll be working closely with others to ensure smooth production.
Right.
Maybe you had to coordinate with colleagues to troubleshoot a problem
Right.
or share information effectively during a shift change
Yeah.
or support a team member who was struggling, you know?
Yeah.
The key is to really highlight those essential teamwork skills. Communication, collaboration, and being able to contribute your strengths to that group effort.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm starting to realize that a lot of these questions are kind of like interconnected.
They are.
Like problem solving, stress management, teamwork.
Right.
Like they all come into play in a fast-paced environment like a soap tower.
Exactly. And, you know, the interviewers are trying to get that holistic view of your abilities. They want to see that you can not only handle those technical aspects of the job,
Yeah.
but you can also thrive in that dynamic team environment.
For sure. For sure. And, the career guide also mentioned the importance of continuous learning in this field.
Yes.
So how does that usually come up in an interview?
So they might ask something like, how do you stay up to date with the latest advancements in soap production technology?
Okay.
And this is where you can really shine by talking about any relevant courses, workshops, or industry publications that you follow.
So it's not just about what I know now.
Right.
It's about showing that I'm eager to keep learning and growing.
Exactly. The soap industry is constantly evolving,
Right.
so demonstrating that commitment to professional development is huge.
Makes sense. Makes sense.
Yeah.
Speaking of staying ahead of the curve,
Yes.
let's loop back to RoleCatcher for a second.
Okay.
One feature I think is really helpful is that AI-powered feedback on practice interview answers.
Yes, it's fantastic.
Yeah, we touched on that earlier, but how does it actually work?
All right, so it's super simple.
Okay.
You record yourself answering common interview questions, just like we've been discussing today,
Right.
and then RoleCatcher's AI analyzes your response.
Okay.
And it'll provide feedback on everything from your clarity and conciseness to your body language and tone of voice.
Wow, so it really is like having a virtual interview coach.
It really is. It's like having that extra set of eyes and ears.
Yeah, okay, that's really impressive.
And, it can help you identify any areas where you might be stumbling or sounding less confident.
Right.
Plus, it can even suggest alternative phrasing or ways to tailor your answer to better align with the company's values.
Okay, so RoleCatcher is definitely a tool that I'll be checking out.
Awesome.
All right, so as we're wrapping up this deep dive, is there a final question that we should prep for?
All right, there's one that often comes up towards the end of the interview, and that is, do you have any questions for us?
Oh, yeah, the dreaded question that can either make or break the interview, right?
Right, but don't worry, it doesn't have to be daunting.
Okay.
Having thoughtful questions prepared just shows that you're engaged and curious about the opportunity.
Right.
So
Yeah.
think about things you genuinely want to know about the company, the team, or the specific role.
Like, what are some of the biggest challenges facing the soap production team right now?
That's a great one.
Or what opportunities are there for, like, professional development within the company?
Excellent examples. You could also ask about company culture
Okay.
or team dynamics.
Great.
You could ask, what do you enjoy most about working here?
Okay. Yeah.
Or how would you describe the team's work style?
Okay. I like those.
Yeah,
I'm starting to feel a lot more prepared for this interview.
I'm glad.
We covered a ton of ground today,
We did.
from understanding the soap tower operator role
Mm.
to like tackling those tricky interview questions.
And remember, we really just scratched the surface.
Right.
The Career Guide and RoleCatcher offer a wealth of additional resources that you can explore.
That's awesome, and I definitely will.
Perfect. But most importantly,
Yeah.
remember to showcase your passion for the soap making process
Right.
and your enthusiasm for joining the team.
Okay, that's great advice.
Thank you.
So to all of you aspiring soap tower operators out there,
Yes.
go rock that interview.
Good luck.
And don't forget to let us know how it goes.
We're cheering you on.